Greetings, friends. It's Coleraine or Coleraine Tarot here on YouTube. My pronouns are they, them, and I am so excited to be bringing through messages to you from a goddess, from the goddess, in a more general term. And if you're not specifically into the gendered language, that's okay. I understand. And this is more of just that archetype of maybe how we think of the earth, like these personified deities that operate within the energy that we know as feminine. I hope this makes sense and doesn't come off as just purely gendered, but I do want to hold space for this, these divine spirits, these guides that are operating within the archetype of what we would consider to be the many faces of the goddess. I've called in specifically the guardian spirits, the spirits that are in those goddess like earth-based energies in particular. And so I'm going to put up a photo somewhere on here, and you've probably already seen it at this point, but those are the piles that you are able to choose from. Going left to right is groups 1, 2, and 3. Otherwise, I will see you in your reading. I will be including some divination alternative form besides the tarot, which is also divination, but I will be doing a bone casting of sorts. And I want to recognize and acknowledge that these practices do come from diverse cultures throughout the world, and I am simply joining in uniquely within this stream of item casting, bone casting. Yes. And also I want to quickly lay a disclaimer that all of my readings are general. When you are clicking on the YouTube form of them, they are meant to resonate with a group of folks who find each of the groups. For other policies and ethics, I do have that linked in the description in my website, which is coleraine.carrd.co. And I would love to connect with you if you'd like a personal reading through that link as well. Otherwise, I will see you in your group, and I'm so grateful that you're here. Bye, friend. Greetings, group 1. This is your goddess reading. I don't know what else to call it, but spirit guide reading if you want to see it that way. So you chose this malachite, and I felt like I just needed to show you this little slab because there's something very calming. I'm seeing this as like ripples on the surface of a pond. There's a moment of stillness that your spirit guide, your goddess guide, is bringing through. Maybe you need to hydrate as well with the water message. Okay, so I have some tarot and oracle for you. We're going to start with the tarot. We have the 9 of weapons and the 8 of drums. So I don't know how long I can show one of these cards because it does kind of depict some violence. But the other card I can show a little bit longer. So the 9 of weapons, the deck that this is from is the #landback tarot and oracle. And the 9 of weapons shows someone who's being shot. So I'm going to show you a little bit. And this card has the idea depicted that these are police officers, so enforcing some kind of like rules or moral belief system. They're upholding a system that's maybe they have to answer to. Cops don't always believe like organically what they're doing. It's like they're kind of having to act in a certain way. And this is the message from the goddess, because I'm feeling that this goddess is a goddess of like justice, or in the archetype of like being kind of a judge. I'm getting the energy of like Ma'at, the Egyptian or Cometian goddess of balance. In the afterlife as well, there's like this like aspect of like final judgment that's involved in this goddess. This goddess energy archetype or like spirit guide may be in this internal judge position within your life. They may influence you and counsel you on making decisions based on your own morals, and they may also bring you into a sense of acceptance and awareness of where you are sacrificing yourself or putting yourself in a vulnerable position based on the decisions that you're making. Because the 9 of weapons would be like the 9 of air, 9 of swords, in another tarot system. Again, sorry about that. There's something about the systems that are involved. And I just looked at the timer when it was 3 minutes 30 seconds, and so there's a 3-3 energy, and even 9 is 3-3-3. It's like this goddess archetype, this spirit guide is in this position of supporting you, and there's even 3 cops on this card too, putting you in this position of facing your worst fears. As well, this goddess somewhat has the energy of like Kali Ma, because there's or even Sekhmet in the Egyptian or Cometian pantheon, where there's this like fierceness. Durga is coming through too. It's like restoring the balance, because Durga is another aspect of Kali, and Durga comes and is created by all other divinities within the Hindu cosmology. And Durga creates, or is created to resist these like kind of all-consuming forces. They're referred to as like kind of demonic, but they're just really like divisionary, and like keeping things in a place of like disharmony, and this goddess protects you. This spirit guide energy protects you, because the other card that came out with it, I've been so focused on this card because it's so like the imagery is really powerful, and there's this aspect of like defending what you believe that's involved in that card, like being willing to die for something, or being afraid that you might have to sacrifice a lot for something that you believe in, or the way you want to live. And then sorry, even then I'm getting like drawn into it because it's so important to this guide. But the card that came with it is the 8 of Drums, and this is like the earth suit. And I like that the drum, everything in this deck is tool-based, and how we choose to wield power, autonomy, authority. And so while the 9 of weapons, the places that we're meeting our challenges, our limits, and evolving with the 9 is happening in the mind, happening in the ways that we're having to persevere, fight, and I'm using the we as in you, channeling for the group. But the 8 is about the reciprocity, the more of the intimate life, and what's fueling and bringing success to these evolutions, to these cycles. And the 8 of Drums shows a consistency in the tool, because the drum doesn't just sound beautiful when we beat it once. I mean, it can be a very powerful, like, singular note. But usually the power of the drum is in its consistency. And we see that there are folks that are gathered around. There's like a light-hearted energy to this because there's even like animals joining into this drum circle. It almost looks like the viewer, like you looking at this card and this image, are being drawn into the drum circle. And there's like they're like maybe singing or chanting, their mouths are open. So there's something here about the healing practices that are involved in being connected to situations where we're having to restore justice, restore balance. And this can be in a personal sense where there's been injustice and imbalance in your personal relationships or in your work relationships for some of you. But in other ways, for a lot of you, it's like feeling an injustice on like a group level, on a collective level, where there's a lot of like restoration and recovery that's being needed at this time. And I'm being drawn to the fact that one of these people, again, there's a group of 3 people in this card as well. The one in the center has the lightning on the shirt. So there's a sense of like anticipating change, being comfortable with change, embracing change. And then, you know, they're sitting there with their hand behind the ear to listen. And that's an important aspect of the earth suit, is like being perceptive and being able to have compassion for what is around, what's in our environment, what the things that we're working with need from us, or what they're trying to communicate to us. So this spirit guide, again, with that message that we began with the malachite, there's a listening, a stillness that is being inspired by this guide, to be able to respond properly to injustices or witnessed experiences of targeting, even like things like racism, homophobia, classism, like oppressive, dominating dynamics. And this can be that there's been a desire for you to shift that, not only on a personal level, but also in, like I said, career. It feels like there's maybe dynamics that are happening in career where the routine, the rituals that you're putting in on your own time are trying to respond to that. Okay. She's telling me to move on. Shut up. So beautiful and synchronistic. Kali Ma, definitely in this energy, helping you to reclaim your power. Kali helps us through moments of ego death, moments where we're having to guide others through ego death, being realistic and truthful in a way that is allowing for preservation of truth, and reclamation from distortion as well, which we're seeing a lot on a collective level. But she's saying spiritual transformation. This is breaking chains of codependency, and also allowing you to feel accomplished in the things that you're committing yourself to at this time. You may be like really wanting, like seeing areas of your life that you're wanting to kind of give to the fire, essentially, because I see Kali is holding up the flame, as well as the hibiscus in her hair. Her hair is really wild. There may be something about how you appear, the way you're expressing yourself, where you're returning to something like natural, or you're doing something that is going to help you have like a potent beauty, is something that I'm feeling. Like Kali may be really like urging you to stand out, to disrupt, and also gain attention. It's like she's I'm using a she. this guide, this goddess archetype is wanting you to sit in your power. And sometimes beauty can be a way of bargaining power. My dogs are confirming that. And I don't know if you noticed, but it's like clouds have gone over the sun. It's like things keep getting like darker and lighter. So it's like Kali's also wanting you to be able to embrace like rapid changes and like not and like adapting to the environment as it's like kind of shifting back and forth, to also again create more of that constancy through what's being put around or what's conspiring around oneself. Rhiannon is the other card from this deck, the Goddesses, Gods, and Guardians Oracle. And this is inner strength. So not only do we have Kali Ma with spiritual transformation, we have Rhiannon here with inner strength. And I feel like these kind of connect. Like Kali goes with that Nine of Weapons card to face the pain, face the challenges, face the injustices, and also like burn and purge the emotions that are coming with these embodied experiences. And while Kali's leading you to this deeper acceptance, this deeper dance with relinquishing comfort, relinquishing ego, relinquishing almost like this desire to be taken care of. It's like this rise in independence that's also like married to the empathy. Rhiannon is connected to this Eight of Drums card, which is that consistency, that practice, that future vision, this illumination of the inner strength. Horses, it's a really beautiful symbol. The horses and the rabbits are here. So there's something about like they both run, there's speed, they're both depicted as white animals too. So like cultivating hope, or within justice, this goddess archetype is showing me that the justice system, essentially, like in its most powerful and productive form, is solution oriented and is focused on providing restoration and equity for misuses of power, imbalances of relationship. Essentially, like we've kind of pulled it away from that like emotional function, but that's really what this archetype does. And that's why I think Ma'at is such an important aspect to be considered in this like transformative process and this cultivation of the inner strength, because it's like providing justification, providing acknowledgement of the struggle. I feel like for some of you, what's here within this spirit guide too is fulfilling a role of the mother archetype as well, where there's this like witnessing of injustice but no action taken to protect you from the injustice. Like, and this is even getting to what some may consider like the masculine involved. And I say this with a little bit of like a laugh, because you know they're interdependent, and protection can be an aspect of the feminine, so I don't want to discredit that, but it feels like this it's because of the balance of these binary forces, the destruction of these binary forces, that these are able to be brought in. So yeah, you may on a personal level resonate with that like distorted mother energy, where there's even maybe a reliance on the masculine to respond to injustice or to come up with like the response to injustice. Kind of like the distorted like damsel turned mother, like needing to be saved and needing to be fixed. Okay, and the inner strength, Rhiannon also, she's calling on me right now to tell the story, because Rhiannon is a goddess of reclamation of self. She's unjustly accused of something that she didn't do, and then she pays the price for it as well, at the hands of a distorted masculine who's misusing control and power. So yeah, and I feel like a remedy to this too is like calling on this like embodied energy. Somatic practices may be really important to the spirit guide and where they're guiding you. Yeah, because I feel like that earth energy is coming in as a response, like being present with the feelings, taking actionable steps to respond to some of these injustices, like filing claims, taking down evidence of things. Like it feels like this guide is wanting, like the judge goes over really detailed experiences and kind of weighs out the factors leading into certain events. So it's like taking account of certain things. And okay, you have an oracle card from the Dreamscape Oracle, I believe it's called. Yep, Dreamscape Oracle, sorry. The Prophet. So yes, there's a reason I'm picking up on this future energy. This goddess spirit guide is really wanting you to see the future of what it means to be conscious about your power, with the snake too. And it's wrapped around this person's legs, uniting these different aspects of themselves, helping to destroy the ego. Again, there's like something about ego death that keeps coming up, and the ego is like a sense of constructed self that gets in the way of us being present in a lot of ways. Like it's a narrative kind of gone awry. A projection, a construction of the self that's like out of balance, out of alignment with truth in some ways. But when there's a healthy ego, it's like a recognition in a humility in a lot of ways, an acknowledgement of the power of being a human, but also a recognition of like the responsibility of that power. I hope this makes sense, because I don't want to be ragging on the ego. The ego is okay. We need the ego. It's just the ego is also involved a lot of times in the justice system when there's deception involved, when there's like omission, and a lot of injustice can hide behind ego stories, and even the enforcement of justice can sometimes be hiding behind an ego's story about who's guilty and why they're guilty, and the influences on things like just because sometimes the ego lacks an ability to empathize, or can like create narratives that prevent empathy. And so for some of you, there's a message coming through about the people around you. Like your own inner prophet energy is helping you to anticipate the empathetic capacity of the people around you, or the people that you're going to have to be facing to overcome this injustice or to encounter reparative energy for these injustices, and who deserves your energy as well, like on a more intimate interpersonal level, like where that energy is best exchanged right now. Yeah. Yep. And your final oracle card here from the herbal astrology oracle, I don't know why I wanted to call it the name of another deck, is the lion's mane, leadership. And the lion's mane is mycelium too, and it has this Aquarian, Leo, Aquarius, Libra. I see those three signs heavily influenced in this card, or influencing the energy of this card. So you may have these three signs prominent, or it may be important for you to look into these three signs. Yep, and the constellation in the sky back there is Aquarius too. This is Mercury and Uranus ruled. So there's a lot of astrological energy, different ones. Libra is Venus. Leo is the Sun. Aquarius is Uranus and Saturn. And then Mercury is involved too. Either way, there's a forward-thinking influence of you, and also like an ability to like bring justice and humanitarian awareness, implementing new structural systems within yourself, within others, or for others, restoring the ability to play, to express oneself, because that Leo Aquarius axis is about self-expression, experimentation. You know, the rebel spirit has to experiment with what works, to disrupt certain energies. I'm also feeling that the presence of the goddess archetype of Oya, who's a Yoruba deity, like a nature type spirit, similar with the Cometian or Egyptian, like archetype of Ma'at and Sekhmet. They're nature elements, spirits. Yeah, leadership. You may be called forward to, by spiritually transforming and cultivating this inner strength. It's leading you to leadership, to leading, to stepping. It's like I'm thinking of the Kendrick Lamar TV Off song. They're saying like, where they're saying few solid left, that really step, few that'll really step, but it's not enough. I'm totally like butchering, making me blush a little bit. Goddess spirit guide of this group one. But yeah, there's something about like the way you're stepping, like walking the walk. That's it. So funny. So this guide may kind of give you the runaround a little bit to help you come into the awareness through your own experience of an energy, kind of like learning, like a hands-on learning experience is what I'm getting. This guide's very like bold. Okay. So that's all I'm getting from the cards. I'm going to cast these items. Set your cards to the side. So we're just going to shake it up a little bit and request that with love, with compassion, that this guide comes forward. Oops. Okay. So the little pine cone in this set fell to the floor and like rolled across my legs. So this feels like the seed is the focus right now. There's something about achieving or seeking out the seed. This may be literally like actual like earth seeds. Maybe that book is important. I just read The Parable of the Sower. So maybe there's that book is important to you, by Octavia Butler, Parable of the Sower. Maybe that's also about the trial and error of the things that you've been trying to get moving in your life, because the parable of the sower in Christian mythology is like talking about throwing seed, and in some places it may, take root. In other places it may be choked by the earth, essentially. In other places it may serve as food to sustain the birds, the creatures. So there's something about like the efforts that you've been making have really been teaching you. I'm seeing here that the iron nail is across the sacred circle, across the angel of faith, with the wand of personal power coming up through the sacred circle. So again, there's this energy of creating a sacred circle, like the drum circle that we saw in the eight of drums. And within that circle is the other seed. So there's 2 seeds that I have in this set, and the other is a peach pit. And the peach pit was actually grown by some of my friends. Well, the peach tree was grown by some of my friends. So I'm thinking about the energy and like the magic and the power that was put into the relationship with the trees in that location. And so there's something about the protection of your intention. And this is a really important time whenever you're watching this to be setting intentions, and to be releasing cognitions, beliefs, relationships that don't serve you. Because next to this iron nail of protection is a coin. It's like a copper coin. And there's like a face, like a mask on it with like stars. Here, let me show you. Hopefully you can see it. Yeah. It's like a beautiful face. But it's next to that nail of protection and that angel of faith. So like your faith does have a strong influence in how this intention is set out and what it brings back to you, because money I think of as like it can be a response to the energy, and something that we have to be open to receiving as well. Closest to that though is this like marble, like a black marble, which can be like influence of fear, but even next to that as well is like this stone of prosperity, inherited wealth. So there may be like narratives of fear that you're hanging on to, or it's like you're empathizing with people who are carrying a lot of fear and hopelessness. But it's like not like setting proper boundaries, even calling on like the Durga energy. I'm feeling like to kind of neutralize these energies from affecting you. It's not about changing other people's beliefs or feelings. The sun and the moon are on either side of the sacred circle. And the sun shell is next to a lot of really positive energy that can open the door. And there's like a chain kind of like carving out this whole area. So it feels like the less that you focus on fear around what you're trying to manifest, or how these kind of beliefs around like this may, this is something that might impede the way that I'm trying to manifest this. Like, what if this gets in the way? Focusing on like your community, your networks, what you what you actually are actively putting energy and time into, and how that's opening doors for you, being loyal to those things as well, and also like being flexible and like, you know, doing the temporary things that you need to do for the long term joy. Releasing dogma and maybe even taking on temporary dogma. You know, I'm thinking about like when somebody gets into like for their health, sometimes we have to take like certain like time periods, like a little season where we're focused on doing something differently for a specific health experience, but then that's not like a forever thing. Or maybe it's like we're temporarily taking on an extreme of it so that in the long term we change a habit or behavior for our overall well-being. Yeah. And it feels like you're conscious about a lot of this stuff. So continue being intentional. Okay, that is all I'm seeing for you, my beautiful group 1. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you for committing to your own spiritual practice, and I sincerely hope that this brought you some kind of guidance, clarity, love, and support today. And yeah, I will see you in another reading, my friend. If you'd like a personal reading, you know where to find me. And I have so much gratitude for you and your guidance. Bye. Greetings, group 2. If you selected this labradorite heart, this is your reading. I'm trying to see if I can share the flash. Yeah. This is your goddess, spirit guide, goddess archetype, spirit guide message. And with the heart-shaped labradorite, it feels like this energy is a very, like a good friend in a way to you. Something that whenever this energy is around you, is in your life, or influencing you in some way, you feel like more inspired, creative, protected, even like able to express yourself, comfortable. There's something about this goddess energy that is like has to do with like your home, or like making sure that you have like your needs met in a lot of ways. Yeah, and that you like can have the time to like reflect on yourself and spend time with yourself. That you're able to like make space for enjoyment. So I don't know too, like if you feel like this guide or this goddess energy is like connected to some of the people that you know, like friends. I feel like a lot of you have some really great friends that are really consistent, that really check in with you, that make sure to like tell you how much they love you. And this isn't like regardless of like the gender of these folks that are around you. Like this is just very much, I'm feeling like when you like really enjoy like hanging out with like your friends when you're at an age where you don't have like the responsibilities necessarily. It's like this goddess energy is like not wanting you to focus too much on your responsibilities, because I feel like you kind of have that handled. It's like more about like how you can have fun and enjoy life and like socialize, like share. It just feels like really positive. So we're gonna go into the tarot. I actually might lay out all your cards. I think you have the least amount of cards out of all the groups today. So we're going to see like what that means for your message. You got the Three of Weapons, which in this deck is like the Suit of Air, Suit of Swords. And it does feel like this goddess spirit guide archetype, while I am kind of surprised to see this, it does feel like they, like even when I was channeling that they're wanting to bring you into this more like fun, like energy with like more love, and like embracing life. It's like they're doing this in response to you feeling a little bit out of place, just in maybe the culture and the society that you're in. Maybe it's the country that you're living in, or something about the way that people are thinking around you or behaving. It's just like kind of been hurting your heart. Sorry, I just got to take a moment to like listen to what they're showing me. We also have here Thoth, divine masculine, with this like ibis kind of up over the head and cloaked. Not a lot of cultures have like veiling as like a masculine practice, but it does feel like there's something about this guide that wants to really nurture your inner masculine energy, because even with the Three of Weapons, I was getting the sense that this is like, I was thinking of in the movie Princess Bride, where they're doing like the sword fights, because the style of like the rapier in these in this card, like they look kind of like from that era that they were trying to replicate in that movie. But there's something like kind of like fantasy, old medieval kind of violent violent aspects of like culture, and competitive type behaviors. I don't know. There's something where like this guy really wants to like protect the aspect of you that does feel like it has to fight. And also bring you into a space of reconciling with your inner desire for like security and reliability, an ability to like provide this within yourself, for yourself. Because that joyfulness does feel like an energy of like being able to rely on that in some ways for a consistency of experience. And it's interesting that we got like that divine masculine for this like reading that's, I guess, more themed of like what we would consider as this feminine archetype. But that's why I like gave that disclaimer at the beginning of the reading, in the intro, if you stayed for that. No shade if not. But the goddess is like, to me, more of a role or a status that's based in healthy service and devotion, that grounds us in love and gratitude rather than being a gendered energy, and opens us up to the importance of like material reality. And Thoth being here, the legends of Thoth is that, you know, he's very direct because, and forgive me, I have to use gendered language to describe this energy, but please know that I'm seeing Thoth as like a spiritual consciousness form, of course, because that is what they are, what he is, especially as an Egyptian Cometian Neteru. But Thoth is supposedly the one who created language, created a way to bring the inner to the outer world, to study the stars, like astrology, to study the world around us, to document and create meaning from our experiences, like mathematics, these kind of like conceptual experiences, turning them into even metaphysical studies and expressions. So you may be drawn to study through this guide. They may encourage you to... I really wish I knew more about or I wish I could recall the meaning of the ibis or the crane, because they may be encouraging you to study symbolism. Maybe there's symbolism in your dreams that's coming forward, or in things that you're reading, things that you're writing as well. This may be your own art, your own expression. They may be encouraging you to be doing more creative things, to be able to analyze what's coming out in this more subconscious form. Because Thoth, even though he's being described here as the divine masculine, there is something very yin about this energy, where it's like confident and comfortable with the internal. I always see Thoth as being like kind of an underworld type being, even though he's more cosmological than that, and more in this energy of like the astronomer, like the one who's like pulling out information and like projecting it in a way for others to understand. But yes, I know that the crane, the ibis, does represent like a balanced relationship between the spiritual and the material realms. Yeah, and I'm kind of loving this, like not sticking to traditional like feminine archetypal definitions. Even like the way that this person is dressed, you know, they're veiled and they're also wearing like makeup, wearing like an expressive, striking thing that draws you into the eyes, and they're two complementary colors, so it's like a balance. Yeah. The other thing here is that this guide could definitely have a lot of water going on. I'm feeling like this guide may even be like Dionysian in some ways. Who else? Kuan Yin, compassion, joy. Yeah, there's something about like celebration and expression that's going on in this energy. And sorry, the koi fish is here. And the koi is all about fortune, luck, enjoyment, and also like reciprocity too. Yeah, so if you are recovering from heartache or from experiences of like feeling in competition, feeling like, you know, there have been underhanded experiences that you've had, this guide is really helping you to like cleanse and transform too, because I'm being shown, so this guide definitely could be connected to Kuan Yin or Avalokiteshvara or Avalokiteshvara. I don't know why I'm like struggling to pronounce that name, but they're both compassion deities in Buddhism. And in Japan, in particular, the koi fish is a representation of transformation. The koi fish turns from the koi into the dragon. And there's this like level of like deeper earth wisdom that kind of transcends like a limited human perspective. That becomes, it's like moving into like a mastery position, but not in a way of like dominating. It's like mastering the self, like self-mastery. And the Three of Weapons is like releasing these doubts that come from these woundings, these scarrings. And I'm going back to the Princess Bride analogy. Are they trying to show me in the sword fighting scene? I don't even remember their characters' names. You'll know if you've seen the movie. In the sword fighting scene, there's something about the exchange and kind of like the battle of wits that's involved, and like the respect that the two swordsmen have for each other that is emotional, and it's about like recognizing, okay, like we're fighting maybe because we're both at odds with powers that are outside of ourselves, and actually like if we use our skills in the right way, we may actually work better together than if we were like struggling against each other for somebody else's benefit. Like there's something about like the empathy. Yeah, I don't know, the koi fish, it's just like balance and reciprocity and like finding real fortune through a period of like potentially being at odds. The last oracle card you have here is ruled by the moon and Neptune. So very much, I always think of Thoth as not just the mercurial influence as a lot of people want to ascribe them to, but I see this energy as being very Neptune, and Neptune as like Poseidon, like king of the ocean, the depths. Even like, who else has a trident? There's someone in the Hindu pantheon. If you know, like drop it down below. But like someone with the Hindu pantheon with a trident like energy, and I just saw 555. So there's something about like deeper knowledge and awareness. Yeah, because this is the card Mugwort, psychic healing, and there's like a owl on the card too with this like older figure. And there's the triple goddess symbol above the crown of this person. I actually noticed it before I noticed their face. With the different phases of the moon, and there's like a mirror portal too. So this guide does really want you to go deeper in learning, and I'm feeling really drawn to read from the guidebook, from the Herbal Astrology guidebook for this Mugwort card, and this is number 10. Some of these descriptions can be a little lengthy, so bear with me. Upright is dream work, the liminal space, in transition, other realities, clairvoyance, and foresight. So yes, this guide, this goddess archetype, this spirit guide is definitely with you to help support you in your psychic abilities, your abilities to discern energy. Maybe you channel or read, or yeah, something about that. Okay, so it says all Artemisia family plants are sacred to Artemis, the moon goddess. So Artemis may also be involved in this energy, like besides Kuan Yin. This energy, the reason I bring up Kuan Yin and Avalokitesvara too is that they're very non-traditional expressions of gender. Same thing with Dionysus and Thoth. So there's an aspect of like balanced, like interdependence. And Artemis, same thing, is very not dictated through binary or patriarchal gender roles. Okay. The moon, Artemis the moon goddess, and mugwort is closely linked to the fairy realms. Historically, it's been used to protect against evil spirits, parasitic entities, dark energies, and hexes among a variety of cultures. Mugwort and its extended family are moon allies that symbolize the mystical workings of our intuition, dreams, and unconscious mind. The silvery light of the moon illuminates the path to higher consciousness, winding through La Selva Subterranea, the underground forest. The moon represents our emotional body, the shadow self, the shadow self, the underworld, psychic abilities, and the occult. This is why I was talking about a dark aspect to this guide. Its dark side can bring on illusions, fear, and feelings of separation and disconnection. Mugwort grants us the strength to work with our shadow and protects us from the parasitic entities that we may encounter as we dive deep into our psyche. And that's what I was picking up on with this 3 of weapons too. Like these kind of like fears and projections of, from within as well. But things that we may even be taking on and thinking are our own. We need to analyze, to release, to know something. Mugwort is a resilient plant that grows in conditions where other herbs may be unhappy. This bitter herb was traditionally used as a tonic for stomach and intestinal conditions, including as a parasite cleanser, an aid to weak digestion, and more. The moon is said to directly govern the stomach, the gut in its entirety, and the regulation of fluid in the body. So it is no coincidence that Artemisia, the moon goddess herb, greatly eases chronic stomach and intestinal complaints. The guidance here: Artemis, the moon goddess, and her wise white owl meet you as you enter the liminal space between one life phase and the next. And I want to mention that labradorite is also about liminal spaces and transitional experiences. Your channel is wide open. She is instructing you on how to draw upon your psychic powers to pass through this test within the realms of shadow. You are not lost. Oftentimes the greatest clarity dawns after the darkest hours. Owl medicine asks you to use the powers of keen psychic sight to observe and intuit aspects of your life that may still lay in darkness. Confront that which is unworthy of your devotion. Eradicate destructive forces. Pay attention to the signs and omens that appear as you navigate the labyrinth of the subterranean forest. So this is about finding clarity too, because Thoth is able to kind of filter through a lot of really complex information, and then not only that, make meanings and connections between these complicated informational technologies. Sorry, I had to go help my dogs because you could probably hear them. But yeah, discerning and filtering through like really complicated information, making sense of it, and not becoming discouraged, kind of like committing to going deeper, and finding clarity within an experience through movement. And I feel like that's what that koi fish is bringing in, is that ability to transform. And like I mentioned with Kuan Yin and Avalokiteshvara, they transform into each other. There's like not a fixed aspect, and like same thing with Dionysus, like drinking the wine and like partying, like getting into altered states of consciousness for transformation. And Dionysus is also a known like shape-shifting energy, so there's something about this like shapeshifter vibe that's like helping to transform this awareness. And even mugwort with psychic healing, like it's used to move energy through the digestive tract, move energy in the psyche, things like that. Okay, so that is all I'm seeing for your cards. I'm going to now do the cast. So I'm just going to set the intention that your guides of love, wisdom, compassion, truth, and alignment can come through and connect with these items as they tell us a story here. Okay, So very first thing I notice as I set this down, hopefully that wasn't too loud. Maybe I should have warned you. I'll put it on the screen for headphone users. But there's a black stone that just rolled away, and that is influences of fear, like even like shadow self influences, repressed self. So it's been pushed over to my obsidian crystal and my offerings for the spirit guide. So it's like you've been relinquishing that and giving that up to a higher power, to the earth, like recycling that energy in whatever way you see fit for yourself. The other thing that's farther away from the concentration of items at the center is a peach pit, which is touching my ruby and feldspar that I have set up for the general workspace today. So there might be something about like, is that the Descendants? Yeah. I'm seeing the peach pit as like kind of like a brain. So it's about like the thoughts, the consciousness state that you're in and how that's going to manifest. I'm thinking of a song that I've been listening to a lot. It's like I guess a neo reggae. I don't know if that's like a actual term, but I'm making it one because it's a newer reggae song called Open Heart. It's a beautiful song. If you haven't listened to it, definitely recommend. But basically in that song, the singer's talking about the having an open heart, having an open mind, having the consciousness clear allows you to manifest, to move forward in energy that's positive and balanced. Definitely give it a listen if you feel called. So there's a chain wrapped up with a bee and the higher self in the sun, which is the consciousness. So there may be some narratives that you have within your ego around like how people perceive you that you're feeling caught up in, but your higher self is trying to remedy this by bringing in the influence of your heart, because I'm noticing now that the heart is in there as well. So also drawing others in and allowing them to hold space for you, sharing who you are, like consciously, who you want to be, how you want to like advocate for yourself. This can be really helpful right now, and also I'm seeing bring you some prosperity. I'm also seeing that animal guides are potentially going to be important in creating a new sense of self or a self-identification, the behaviors of animals, the traits, the qualities of them. I'm also seeing that if you are in relationships where you're receiving support from others financially, these are protected. Or if you are in responsible for supporting others through finances, your finances are protected. The moon, the subconscious, is also here next to that, and I'm seeing the animal guides as being a bridge between conscious and subconscious, as well as the exchange related to your money, as building a bridge between conscious and subconscious. So notice how you're thinking about money, how money's actually moving in your life, and that may give you indications on where your conscious and your subconscious are trying to communicate to you. We have a release of dogma through personal willpower, and that is what's pushing away shadow self-influence, or keeping you from operating from an unconscious belief system. There's something over here too about a temporary opportunity opening up to you for you to have, like, maybe I'm seeing like an event or an experience that you attend once, but
affects you for a long time or opens different doors for you, or it's just an experience that you need to have. But the only thing keeping you from accepting this opportunity may be a belief around the intentions of others or the trustworthiness of others. Because there's a loyalty to a negative mindset that is trying to get out of the way of you receiving blessings right now. Another thing that I'm seeing is that your spirit guides are wanting to take you in a new direction through the time, like making time for sacred space, and meditation in particular as well, and connecting to the subconscious, not pushing away the subconscious. So definitely dream work. If you have not been engaging in dream work, sit with your dreams. They really can help you. They are very much important messages for you. I know from experience. As well as they can help you to connect deeper with your ancestors, if your ancestor guides. If you've been feeling like it's difficult to connect with your ancestors, or you've been wondering what your ancestors want you to be doing or what they've been thinking about your life, they are protecting you and your space and your home. Okay, that is all I'm seeing for you, my beautiful group 2. Thank you so much for being present with me in this reading. Thank you to your spirit guides, every other being in the universe that brought us together for this reading today. If you're interested in my policies and ethics or a personal reading, I have those at my website in the description. Otherwise, I will see you in another video, my friend. Bye. Greetings, group 3. If you selected this third group, the Zebra Jasper Skull, this is your goddess spirit guide archetype reading. We're going to set this right here to observe the reading and to bring us the connection that we need to the guide. Zebra Jasper is a crystal, I'm going to keep holding it, that helps us to recognize our uniqueness, as well as helping us to draw from earth energy, to find strength in our connection to the earth, strength in our connection to our family or energies that are like family, our definition of family. There's also something about the Zebra Jasper that feels like it's bringing through wisdom and kind of inobjective truths about reality, the laws of reality, the nature of reality. And this guide, the first thing I was feeling for this pile as I got into your energy was that there's something about this goddess archetype, this spirit guide energy that feels connected to like water. So it may be like an energy of like Oshun, the Yoruba deity. There's also something about, they're kind of telling me that there are like archetypes that I haven't quite discovered fully or understood fully within mythology that they represent, but I'm seeing even like maybe Krishna, who is a manifestation of Vishnu, the preserver. And even Oshun is about like reveling in the experience of being alive. I'm also seeing like Kukulan. I think I just kind of butchered his name, which is a bit of a shame because I'm very into Irish mythology for my own ancestry. But I was also seeing like the Ciridwen, Lady of the Cauldron. So something about like the warrior, a strength, strength of creation, because Krishna is like a selfless creator. Okay, let's see that. You have 14 temperance from the hashtag Landback Tarot. And it shows a mother, or maybe not a mother, a parent, nursing an infant while some nurses look on. Maybe an adoption is happening or something. And that's why this parent is crying over the baby. Sorry about the honking. I don't know what that is. Maybe this spirit guide is trying to get your attention about like giving something precious away. Or also like the kind of care that you're accepting from someone else. Like maybe someone's trying to offer you something, but it's not necessarily like good for you. You're actually like having to give more. And for some of you, it's like somebody in your life is like misjudging you. Or like they're like committed to like misunderstanding you in some way. Because temperance is about like, after we've gone through this experience of facing like our mortality, facing the kind of structures of like real life, these like real life responsibilities and obligations we have. Temperance is the moment after where we have to deal with the aftermath of this event, or like how this has changed our life. Because now, you know, even if this baby is staying with the mom, there's something about, or I'm sorry, I keep calling this person, this baby needs to be raised, and there's a commitment that's involved in that. So maybe there's an aspect of like crying over like the beauty of a new life. Maybe the expectations or the loss of freedom that's involved, because it's like maybe this infant wants to grow up in a certain way, but because of the influence of like the care that's being given, it's like hard to feel the freedom. Of what this important event meant. Or maybe the tears are also a resolve to give care in a way that's going to honor this new thing, this new life. Let's see what else this goddess, the spirit guide archetype, wants to share with you. We got Amaterasu, no more hiding. No more hiding, group 2. I'm feeling like I need to go to the guidebook for Amaterasu's story. I know that this is a Shinto myth. Okay. Very first card in the deck. Wait. No, actually, the second card. Amaterasu is a supreme Japanese Shinto sun goddess and daughter of the creator god Izanagi. Her name means great shining heaven, Japanese emperors are said to be descended from Amaterasu, and she's the highest deity in Japan. Shinto legend relates how Amaterasu retreated into a cave when her brother, Susanoo, began neglecting his divine role and creating mayhem. So important was Amaterasu's light that her disappearance plunged heaven and earth into disastrous darkness. Desperate for her to emerge, the deities created rituals to entice her out, including a mirror placed at the mouth of the cave. Amaterasu saw her shining light in the reflection and never hid herself away again. So that may be the energy of Caradwen that I was picking up with this deity as well, because Caradwen is the cauldron, the personal power, the willpower that is used to shine a light, create something within the world. Who else was I picking up on? Kukulan, Krishna. Yeah, they're all about not hiding and not running away from power. And also, I feel like there's something here where they're talking about turning away from someone using your own power against you. Because even in that story with Amaterasu, like, she hid herself away when her brother was neglecting his role. So it's like through turmoil, through a misuse too, because I'm thinking about how Shinto religion was misused during, I believe, World War II in Japan, and it was twisted to be something that it didn't mean in its original folk context. And same thing with the temperance. It's like there's like a cultural rift that's like causing tension between these like hospital staff and then this like new parent, and like papers and documents are involved because that's what one of the nurses is holding. So it's like, yeah, you're like changing how you're using your power. And also I'm thinking about how Caradwen, her son, is like becomes, what's the poet's name? Starts with a T. He becomes a really famous poet, a famous artist that brings a lot of like peace and clarity to the Irish people, to the Tuatha De Danann. Before they become the Irish people, really. But this guide may be encouraging your poetic voice. Even I feel like Krishna is connected to poetry in some way, like preserving through truth. Okay, let's see. You're an introspective soul with a deep and multi-layered inner life. You need time to process and reflect on life's events. Private space is vital for your well-being. It can feel safe and familiar to keep yourself closeted away, but Amaterasu is asking you to share more of your beautiful light and wisdom. You have a special energy that needs to be seen, so don't hide it. And that's exactly what the zebra Jasper was talking about too. What do you fear might happen if you reveal your true spirit? Does it feel as if your energy may be somehow damaged or destroyed if it's brought out into the open? Or perhaps that you'll be hurt, judged, or misunderstood? Even if this has happened before, Amaterasu wants to restore your trust. She understands your fears about coming out of the dark cave and offers you her hand. Come out, Shining One, she says. Remove your cloak so we can receive your inner light. You can be an important guide for others. It's safe and trustworthy out here, and you'll be met with love, respect, and gratitude for sharing what's inside your heart. Share your feelings openly with someone. You'll soon gain wider or public recognition for your work. Don't censor yourself to win others' approval. The invocation is, I reveal what's in my heart, and it's received with love. So there's definitely an invitation into expressing your truth. I'm even seeing like, what's her name? We'll just call her the Virgin de Guadalupe here. Kind of like the Mother Mary, but for indigenous Mexican populations. She has another name. It's like, it starts with Teo. Tewansin. I know I'm close, but yeah, there's something about not holding yourself back. Temperance is also, I see it as a cave in a lot of ways, because it's the time after death, the experience of like re-alchemizing, finding new power balances, re-synergizing, re-energizing, and a recognition of truth. You have here cannabis, detachment, which is ruled by Saturn and Neptune, and mandrake, sensuality, also ruled by Neptune and Venus. There's something about, for some of you, this goddess, this archetype, this spirit guide really wants you to accept love and release yourself from the past. Release yourself from certain trauma responses as well. Cannabis, I'm not encouraging anything, but might be good for some trauma healing. For like detaching from certain energies. It's not about ignoring or not acknowledging, but like a healthy level of detachment, like from especially things in the past, can really like help with new like boundary regulation. And the mandrake in this particular deck talks about it being used as an aphrodisiac despite its like potent potential. So there's something here about if you're like having difficulty trusting yourself or trusting others, it's like not a matter of avoiding the situation itself. It's more of a matter of avoiding the circumstances within those situations that may bring about suffering. And also seeing how suffering has informed your ability to experience sensuality, to experience love, because we're never going to be in a situation in our life that isn't going to at least cause us some unintentional pain. It just is the nature of being on earth. But I'm thinking of like somebody who avoids, like relationships altogether because a relationship in the past was like really challenging, like something about like avoiding something. And it's like this spirit guide really wants you to re-explore or re-encounter aspects of yourself that you've been shutting away, things that are precious to you, that feel vulnerable. Even with that, like, parent and infant, there's an aspect of like wanting to keep something safe and vulnerable. Oh, my light went out, so we're gonna be in this lighting for the next little bit, till the end of the reading. But yeah, not wanting you to like hide your power, hide your light. I feel like there's this group has a very humorous side that's been hardened. Like maybe you've become a little jaded by the world recently, and it's like this spirit guide wants to help you to reawaken some of this like fun. Okay, your last two oracle cards are the sea turtle and the serpent. And I'm noticing that they're both reptiles. They have like the kind of scaly skin. And they're also quite old creatures. They both kind of represent that experience of like ancient knowledge, ancient wisdom. The serpent in this deck in particular is sitting at the base of the world tree. And there is something Saturnian about this group. So you may have a lot of Capricorn energy. Capricorn energy may be important to you right now. Similarly with Sagittarius, and I'm also seeing, because the Neptune, or not Neptune, sorry, that would be Jupiter, maybe Neptune, Pisces as well, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Pisces, or Scorpio too, with the serpent. But the serpent goes around the base of the world tree in this card, and they're acknowledging the cycles of death that it takes to achieve enlightenment or to move collective consciousness. So there's something about this guide that's like deeply connected to the cycles of the world. Maybe that's why I keep seeing Saradwin's cauldron too, because it's like circular. And it's a vessel for something to be spun around to create medicine. And the serpent is like, they can coil up and they create medicine as well, and can be misunderstood. So again, going back to that message of being intentionally misunderstood. The sea turtle, their memory and their awareness is similar to the serpent, but it's within the realms of the water. So hearkening back onto that message of this deity, this goddess energy, this spirit guide potentially being connected to the energy of Oshun. This is about, again, with the mandrake here as well, like Oshun is known for her sensuality, and also sometimes, I think in her story, she's actually cast away, like they send her away. They're like, Oshun, you're too focused on like the love, all this like, they basically discredit her for an aspect of her femininity in a lot of ways, and her sensuality and her sexuality as well. They're kind of like, what? Like, I don't know if that's really like necessary in our society. The other deities in the Yoruba culture. And then she leaves and she's heartbroken and she's like, I can't believe they've like cast me out just over my light. And we have that even here with Amaterasu. And she, there's a lack of love in the society after they send Oshun out, and she ends up having to come back and show them, hey, I had this beautiful, loving energy all along that, I was trying to share with you. And there's a remorse. So I think if you've done all you can in a situation, this guide, this goddess really wants you to like appreciate your uniqueness, what you've offered, and kind of like carry your home on your back like the sea turtle, and like pick up and detach from a situation. I feel like you're very supportive, but it's time to also cultivate this like self-support and this like self-wisdom through like storytelling, through like narrative. Okay, so that's all I'm seeing for you in the cards. This guide has a very Saturnian energy to them. I just keep picking up on that. Yeah. Okay, so goddess, spirit guide, guardian of group 3, how may we understand a little bit deeper the messages that you are trying to convey at this time? Please do so through the use of these items. And hopefully you're not listening with headphones and being blasted by these noises, but just to warn you before I throw them down, it may be a little loud. Okay. So, the sun is on top of everything, the sun shell. So definitely this guide really wants to bring forward your conscious awareness, not falling into being passive about anything in your life or surrendering too much, like wanting you to be a bit more active, take a bit more initiative in your life, and be a little bit less shameful around who you are. Well, not a little bit less, like quite a bit less shameful about who you are. There's a chain surrounding your higher self, or the rock that's symbolizing the higher self. And so it's like talking about a chain of events that are orchestrated by a super conscious aspect of yourself that is wanting to trigger the next spiritual awakening, through creating opportunities for you to connect with the subconscious mind, and helping you to release and unpack any trauma that you've been carrying that has still been influencing you. There are a lot of things that are hidden in this casting. So things like the heart, things like temporary situations of the past, things like the dog tooth for loyalty, for even I'm feeling like the dogs being like something like hunting you down. So it feels like there's a lot of things like hidden underneath this light, because it's like your desire to like Krishna, kind of like set the balance and like be in this kind of like warrior self, like being this authentic aspect of yourself, is overriding a lot of other things, like almost to the point where you don't really care. I will say that this guide really wants to inspire you to bring in more protection, because I am seeing like fear-based energies or entities taking like on top of the faith angel. So it's like your faith may be usurped by certain fears of being seen, fears of expressing and being genuinely heard. And it's up to you, I'm seeing, because there's the rod of personal will and intention that is touching the faith angel. It's up to your decisions and choices whether this faith is restored and how much you believe it and integrate the faith that you are protected into your life. Because this faith angel is surrounded by not only the iron nail of protection, but also the stone of the shadow. So it's like the more that you get in touch with your shadow, the more that you can protect yourself from fear, because you're aware of it and connected with it. And how this is going to happen too is through connecting with yourself through ritual. I'm seeing you doing like art therapy style practices, or something where maybe not just art therapy. This could also be like movement therapy, where you're like, you know, how some people see like going to the gym or running or playing sports as therapy. That's like really what I'm seeing. Something that's an active action that's like consistent, and also maybe not super focused on like bringing up your traumas, especially if you're in a really reactive state. Yeah, just doing something that will help you to like express your energy in a more physical way. And also something that maybe you can share with, like, if you have kids, or for some of you, they're like older people in your life. I'm not really sure. There's something about like the people that you feel like you have an obligation to, or some kind of responsibility to encourage, like bringing them into it with you. And for some of you too, with that energy of Oshun, like this could be something like surfing or like water sports in some ways. I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be different for each of you. There's something too about wanting to write down your beliefs or document certain boundaries or rules that you have for your life, and allowing that to take precedence. I'm also seeing that for some of you, returning to certain traditions or wise words of wisdom from ancestors could potentially help you to feel grounded, feel secure. And as well, there's something about this stability or reconnection to some type of knowledge that will also help you to grow some wealth, because I'm seeing the shell of offspring with finances. So again, for some of you, it's about like creating something new that's going to bring in new streams of income through this belief. For others of you, it's taking the time to research some beliefs around potentially like parenting or managing money when you are like in the role of a parent or being responsible as a parent. And I'm saying that because you did get the Temperance card with, you know, that new parent energy on it. So there is something about being responsible with your money and how it will affect or influence like the people coming after you in some ways. And I do feel like there are a lot of people coming in to support you because this new light energy, as well as other like spirit guides. Just your spirit guides are very close because they're very close to this light that you are bringing forward. Your conscious awareness, the tokens of spirit guides are right in there. Yeah, and all the work that you've been doing, you're going to start to see results in a shift in your subconscious and in the way that you're just operating without having to put in so much effort, because I feel like a lot of you have been really trying to create changes, and so you're going to start like reaping the benefits, because even like when we think about birth, it's like a harvest in a way. It's a okay, this phase of the growth is completed, and now, you know, there's a new phase of cultivation, but there is essentially like a, you know, a harvest. Something has been removed from the parent energy. So yeah, that is all I am seeing for you, my beautiful group 3. Thank you so very much for joining me today and being here for this reading and committing to your own spiritual growth. I want to thank all these spiritual guides that were present for this reading, for this message today. If you are interested in a personal reading or in viewing my ethics and policies for my practice, I have that in the description below at my website. Otherwise, I will see you in another video, my friend. And until next time, have a beautiful rest of your day and days to come.